Hello and welcome back to the Robotic Enterprise Framework training. In this demo, we'll continue developing the UI Demo Consumer project using the REFramework template configured to work with Orchestrator Queue Items. In the previous video, we've edited the project's config file with all of the necessary data applicable for our process. You may remember that we've also added 4 custom pre-built workflow files to the project folder. If you want to build along and you haven't done so already, then this is a good time to copy the workflow files to the project folder. Okay, let's focus on adding the necessary steps to open, log in, close, and kill the applications used in the process. In our case, the only application used is UI Demo. This step maps to the applications used open/close/kill section of the REF with Queue Items checklist. For a bit more clarity, we'll make changes to the initialization and end process states. Here, we'll invoke our custom workflows inside the Init All Applications, Close All Applications, and Kill All Processes workflows. When necessary, we'll also pass the data from the config file to the invoked workflows. Ready? Let's start by configuring the project to open UI Demo and log in. As you may have already guessed, to do this, we must edit the Init All Applications.xaml workflow file, which is invoked in the initialization state. The Init All Applications.xaml workflow must contain the activities to start all applications, perform the authentication, and initial configuration required for all transactions in the process. So, how does this translate to our process? Here, we'll invoke the UI_Demo_open workflow and import the arguments. This workflow must receive 2 values, the UI Demo credential name and the UI Demo application path. We've set both up in the config file. Notice that we have the config dictionary as an input argument for the Init All Applications workflow. This means that we have access to the values attached to the UI Demo_application path and the UI Demo_credential name keys, and we can pass them to the invoked workflow UI Demo_open. Let's do this now. For the in_UI Demo app path argument, we'll map the value associated with the UI Demo_application path key in the in_config dictionary. We need to convert it to a string as the value in the config dictionary is by default of type object. Next, we'll do the same for the in_credential name. Great, we're done here. We can save and close the Init All Applications workflow. Next, let's edit the Close All Applications workflow. Here, we'll invoke the UI Demo_close workflow file. This workflow is executed when we encounter system exceptions at the end of the process. We do not have any arguments, so we just save the workflow. In cases where the Close All Applications workflow fails to execute correctly, we need to force close the applications. This is what the Kill All Processes workflow does. By default, it's empty. Here, we just need to invoke the UI Demo_forceClose.xaml file. As expected, this workflow kills the process with the UI Demo name. In the first run, this workflow is executed in the initialization state. In the process transaction state, if close fails after a system exception, and in the end process state, if close fails. Let's save our changes. It's good to note that as a best practice, we've placed our activities in separate workflows, one per application, and invoked them inside the designated workflows in the framework. Okay, we're at the end of this demo where we've practiced configuring the Init All Applications, Close All Applications, and Kill All Processes workflows. This is a good time to review the applications used, open/close/kill section of the REF with Queue Items checklist. After watching this video, could you say what workflows we've modified in this section? In what states are they invoked and in what situations are they executed? In the next video, we'll continue with editing the get transaction data and process transaction states. Thank you for watching and happy automation!